Is he stuck?
Yeah. What my nose look like.
That's weird. My phone notified that we're live. Oh, what the heck? We
All
are.
right, guys. Welcome to episode 9. This is Thought Process. My name's Marco. This is my co-host Greg. Greg, how's
Hey.
life? How you doing?
Doing all right. Not too bad. I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't know how we're live.
We're live, right?
Yeah,
Guess
I
the
guess.
computer decided to do it on its own.
There we go. Now it shows it.
So
Another different way.
we've got new subscribers, Greg. How many of them do we got?
Said 5, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got 5 new subscribers. Thank you, guys. Thank you for believing in us.
Thank you, sir.
We will
Enhance.
continue to do the service happily.
So we're in a new place. We haven't been able to decorate or anything. This is a new studio that we were talking about. Obviously, it's just a white wall right now with the only table that's in the house.
But it's something. It's a start.
Yeah.
You know,
change.
as the as the weeks go by, I think this place is gonna really turn out to be something.
Yeah, it should be fun. So what have you been doing?
Nothing. Same old. Just living.
That's
Living
not
in this
good.
world.
That's too easy.
No, I mean I've been pretty consistent with the gym, bro. Work. It's always a little stressful, but here we are. Another day, another dollar.
You have something new to look at, so
Yeah,
and then something new to do. New house.
yeah, this is pretty cool. I never thought I would have something like this, like my own little studio.
Yeah.
So moving up in the world.
Well, let me change this. I keep looking at it. It's a little off.
So you said that you recently started a new habit, and this is we were talking about this before the podcast. You've been running a little bit more.
Yeah, because I keep thinking about how everyone talks about like goals and all of that, and I don't. Every time that I set a goal, there's not been any excitement at the end, and I started looking at goals and achievements in a different sense. Like it sounds just like how everyone says you get what's the damn word? Like when you finish a task, you get this feeling. What's that feeling's name? I'm blanking on it right now. We were just talking about it in the last podcast.
Excited or
No, like fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
Yeah, and like why a lot of people like playing like video games. They're fulfilled when they beat the game and all that, but it doesn't last.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, it's that emotional feeling. I mean, I guess it would be temporary happiness. You know, you're excited when you're doing the task. When you complete it, you sense. I guess you sense a type of achievement. You did something. You completed something. Particularly if it's like a hard task that not a lot of people can do. Those will always feel pretty good. They probably have a more lasting uh, impression on you than you know running a mile for the first time, or something of lesser, I guess, feeling.
Yeah, so like one of my things right now, like I'm going to the school. That's a goal that's almost there. Taking me a long time, and I'm down to like 2 more sections, and I'm towards the end of this one, which means I'd be one more section away from completing it. But this long goal, it will feel nice at the end. Like along the way, there's enough times where I was just like, nah, I'm done. I'll keep doing it, and I'll eventually get to that. But there, you started losing that like fulfillment
Like
of
the
every
fire.
day doing something.
You stop feeling the fire in you.
Yeah,
To do it.
So
Yeah.
it's like
okay.
needing a short-term goal as well, and something in the short term. I decided to push myself harder in something in the short term because it's easier to push yourself in shorter amounts and long amounts because it feels more like torture in a long period of time than in a
Yeah.
small period of time. So I decided to try to run a marathon in a week, going from not running at all.
So how do you feel about that? Like right now, what? How many miles are you doing a day?
I've done every day. I've done 3 miles, and then one of the days I did an extra mile, so I did 4 miles that day. And then on top of that, I walk another mile. So I don't consider that part of the miles, but
I mean,
it's a cool down
it would
afterwards.
be. I think you should um, perhaps include it because even though it's not hard cardio, um, it still affects you physically.
Yeah.
Like slow pace cardio. So I've been told by many people, coaches and trainers, in fact, it's something that I've been incorporating into my regimen right now, is having a at least 10-15 minute cardio after weight training. Not only does it help with recovery, but it kind of just it's all you can also use it for like cool down.
Yeah. That that's one of the things to cool down. Because usually I'm just like I'm done, and I go and I sit down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe because I've been doing the extra walking, I haven't gotten to like a point where I've had to stop. Where like previously running, I don't know if it's just luck or something right now, but like I usually get this like pain in my foot. So like anytime I step, like it hurts. It's almost like a bruise on my foot.
Like on the bottom of your foot?
Yeah, and it usually happens after I run consistently every week. But I haven't gotten it. Like I've been fine every single day.
Are you running any different? Any different than what you were running before?
No.
Same pace, same exertion,
Yeah.
same amount of energy you've been using? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I've changed a couple things. I've uh I've done two things. I've taken vitamin D and fish oil,
Hmm?
but we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm also taking 100 milligrams of caffeine in the morning, and then if later on in the day I feel like it, I'll do another one. And I don't know. I think it has been helping a lot.
Yeah. So what has been your experience with those caffeine pills?
So at first I was taking 200, so I was taking a whole pill,
Jeez, it's a lot.
and I was still fine, and I didn't necessarily feel any different. But I kept remembering, like as I would take like more like supplement stuff, I would I would get like either more gas or I would get more like cramps, and so I was like, I'm just gonna wind it down a little bit, and if it's not working, then I'll change back. But it's been working the same, and I haven't had any issues with like gas or anything like that. So I've just kept it at that amount.
Now, what would be the equivalence of 200 milligrams of caffeine in a pill and to coffee? Like, how many cups of coffee would that be?
Well, they also affect you differently because of the way that it's like your system uses it.
Right,
So the caffeine in a pill takes longer to go.
to process.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think I'm not exactly sure how much is in a cup of coffee. Let's see. But it was very interesting. I looked at that before. I just didn't remember it from when you're asking.
Mhm.
That there's less caffeine in regular Coke than there is in Diet Coke. There's more caffeine in Diet Coke.
Why would that? Why?
I don't know.
That's
It's
pretty.
weird.
That's weird.
1 cup of brewed coffee, which is 8 ounces, which you usually drink 16.
No,
Or 12?
about 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Contains
cup.
anywhere from 70 to 140 milligrams.
So you would be essentially in the course of a day would be drinking 2 cups of coffee.
In a sense, yeah.
I mean, that's not that bad.
Well, yeah, it may be the same as 1 cup.
Now, you said that because you process it different, have you noticed any other physiological like maybe side effects? Like do you have a crash? Do you
No?
No?
Mm.
So what kind well, I mean, can we even talk about the brand on here?
Oh, I just got one from the dollar store.
From the dollar store?
Yeah.
Holy crap. You're using crack pills, bro.
Well, no, because I actually looked it up and I went online to look at reviews of the product itself, and I looked at the ingredients, and sure, there may be some ingredient in there that's like, I think there's 3 ingredients in it. It's caffeine, I think it's whatever the color dye is that they put on the pill, and then I think it's just the casing, because there's
What?
not like multiple ingredients.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
shouldn't it just
caffeine.
be caffeine? And then what does that even look like in
It's
a
just
pill?
like a little pill, yellow pill.
Is
It
it
looks like an Advil.
does it come like a see-through casing?
No, it's like a hard pill.
It's
Like
a
you can break them in half, and it just looks like powder on the inside.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And
Yeah.
it doesn't. You said that it's like a slow process to
Yeah.
for you to ingest in your body.
Yeah, I believe
I mean,
that's exactly what's happening.
I thought pills were more or faster than.
The plastic ones.
Okay, so it's not one of those. It's the actual hard compressed ones. Ah, okay. At the dollar store. So it's $1 for how many?
No, I think it was. I think it was like $2.
$2 for how many?
It may have been $1.
For how many?
I think it was 16 pills, maybe. And so at the first maybe week, I was doing 200 milligrams, and I ended up doing that twice a day. I was guaranteed doing it twice a day, and I didn't feel any different necessarily. But then I started cutting them in half, so they're lasting even longer. So it'd be like 32 days worth. But no, I haven't noticed anything with it, and I've heard that there's benefits to caffeine. I mean, unless you sit there and you're drinking drinks and you're getting like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day, that's different. But like, there's plenty of days I don't drink coffee. Plenty of days I don't have anything. Like, I don't drink a lot of soda. If I do, it's usually a soda that doesn't have caffeine in it. So,
like what? Like Sprite?
I mean, usually when I drink anything, it's diet. So a lot of the diet stuff is no caffeine free. Like the Diet Pepsi is caffeine free.
Oh, is it?
I believe
I
it's
don't know.
Diet Pepsi.
Dude, I haven't had a Pepsi in I would think years.
Yeah.
I haven't had a Pepsi in years. I wonder why. Like,
Because they're not as prevalent.
but are they still like pretty like with their marketing? They're still
Well,
pretty.
it's like when you go out, that's probably when you get a soda, right? When you go to a machine,
Yeah,
you're gonna just go buy a soda.
it's
from
all
them.
Coke.
Yeah,
And
most
then-
places are Coke.
They have technically it would be like a monopoly, right?
Huh?
No, because didn't Coke buy like Gatorade, like Minute Maid and all the bunch of all
Pepsi
these?
bought Mountain Dew, or has Mountain Dew and has Sunkiss.
Isn't that so weird that most big companies are like that? Like, how many big stores do we have?
It's because it's actually kind of interesting because Coke, where I used to work, did we have Coke before? I think we had RC Cola.
RC Cola.
Yeah.
Who owns them?
I think Pepsi.
Pepsi owns.
Yeah, and Coke came in and said, "We will pay to put your machine in, and we will pay you to serve Coke, but you need to buy the rest of the drink."
Oh shit.
Yeah. So they were just like, I'm gonna put this machine in for you. I'm gonna pay you to sell Coke. Essentially, they give us a certain amount of Coke, and outside of that, we would have to buy more, and then we buy the rest of the soda. So now, why would we want to go with Pepsi?
Pepsi wasn't able to do that.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
now Coke is everywhere. and
Wow,
they'll
that's
sell
very
more.
interesting.
Yeah, it was very crazy. I always wanted Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. And
From
then
Pepsi.
Coke did that.
And you were like, no, I gotta go with the cheaper option, and because they gave you some more value, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a no-brainer. I mean, if you're a restaurant owner, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird things like that though. Like at the same time, if you are thinking on like personal levels and stuff like that, like there's enough stuff out there. Like companies are starting to advertise like this and that, and you may not agree with it. So are you going to not save money in your business because you don't agree with their opinion that they're throwing out on people? A lot of people aren't willing to do that in their business.
Yeah, because what happens in a business is that you need to cut costs as much as possible while still providing the best and highest quality you can afford. That's a very tricky business. And I was thinking about this the other day while I'm sitting there and eating a bowl of chicken and rice, right? For some reason, I didn't have time to pack with all this moving stuff. I didn't have time to pack food as I usually do. But I went to go and I grabbed this chicken bowl. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, the veggies that they provide, they're not actually that great. They give you like 4 pieces of broccoli. I would say less than 10 slices of carrot, a bunch of lettuce. Like lettuce, although it's got its benefits, it's not. It doesn't have like the essential things and vitamins that you actually need, right? So I was thinking, I'm like, wow, these people can get away with this. I mean, the bowl itself looks healthy, but there's not a lot of nutrients in it. Like they're cutting costs to the bone, and it's pretty interesting how companies are able to do this. In fact, we should learn how to do this. Um, it's
Well,
but
with especially with produce, it's very weird because I would look at that. I was in the restaurant and be like, why are we giving small amount of lettuce or tomato or onion? And it's because based off of a certain amount of product, you get a certain amount, you get a box of onion. It's the same amount weight wise or number wise.
hmm,
So what happens? Let's just say the box is 10 onions,
hmm,
and each onion cut up only fits on 4 burgers. So you can only make 40 burgers out of a box.
right.
So if you were to go out and make 41 burgers in a day, you then have to go out and buy a whole new box. So it's based off of how much of the product you use and how much you order. So it's almost cutting the amount of that down so you don't have to order a whole new box because that stuff is perishable. There's so many
But
little things like that that's so crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I could imagine because you don't want to have you don't want to refrigerate your vegetables like for
Yeah.
2 days, right?
So like you think of it, oh, the box is only $10 worth. But if I'm gonna buy $10 worth of onions to use one, that's a $10 onion. And you would never buy a $10 onion.
Yeah, you got to think about it in a wholesale kind of perspective, right?
Because
But
once you can finally use it, it's no longer good anymore.
talking about like caffeine and stimulants, dude. My nephew, like, okay, so we follow each other on like on Snapchat or something, and usually I'll ask him to send me some like the things that he's been eating. He plays football. He's in a football team, so he's kind of a bigger kid, you know. I was he posted something about taking like an energy drink called Bang, and I'm like, he bought 2 of those, and I was like, bro, like, why you're 16? Why are you even drinking this stuff? Like, and I think
Huh?
they're like 2.99, dude, and that's less than a monster. So
That's
that
actually
that goes to tell you like, what in the hell is in that bottle?
they actually just did this thing. I didn't watch the video, but it's funny that you say that.
Hmm.
They just did this thing at E3. Don't know what happened, but I think it made it big, and it's very interesting that he got that specific energy.
Well, the energy drink, I think it's been around for a few years now. But they're
the
starting,
logo looks familiar,
but they're starting to market it more like their marketing and their PR is
super
really, really big.
creatine. This is like a pre-workout energy drink that they were just advertising like a monster.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, I can't sit here and talk shit because we're having a beer. I guess you know I gotta call myself out on that. But you're 16 and you're drinking this pre-workout. Like, what the fuck?
This is actually something I was talking to my parents about because we've been talking about soccer a lot because the Women's World Cup and there's a lot of cups going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's players like the LA Galaxy team. They have a player who's 16 years old. He just turned 17 this weekend. How is a 16-year-old on a professional team?
Yeah.
Like what is that kid being taught to be at the same level as these people who you would consider elites who are dedicating every moment of their life to soccer? It's like that kid's got to be doing the same. How does he have the same discipline or be able to do the same things?
I would consider him prodigy. Maybe I
He
mean
had to put in the work. Like
Yeah.
sure, he may have some good skill, but he still has to put in some
Oh,
work.
sure. Yeah, you gotta be running. You gotta be. Your nutrition has to be on point. You have to have coaches. I mean, other than talent and hard work, I don't think there's anything else
Like,
to it.
how could he get the same experience as those professionals? Like,
You know,
where is he allowed to like practice with these guys? Like,
maybe he was just something that he got hooked on when he was a kid. Like he's 16. How old is he? 16, 2019. So he grew up with the internet. So maybe he was just like on the internet and practicing day in and day out, climbing the ranks through his like mid teens.
it's like the Premier League, freaking all the best of the best in the world playing there.
There's like 20,
And
20
Mbappe,
years
he's
old.
like 19 years old.
Yeah. I mean,
He was
dude,
18 in the World Cup.
they're just a different type of human, man.
He's 18 in the World Cup, playing for his country as one of the forwards, the top positions, hardest position to get into,
That's crazy.
in the best tournament in the world that only happens 4 times a year, and they put him there at 18 years old.
How do you do?
They won.
There you go. That's why.
But like my point is he had to have had a different mentality. Like people who are on the top, they put in this work that no one else puts in.
That's true.
And it's like,
but I mean, he must be putting it in. Like,
but like some people will say like my parents were saying, oh, but he lost out on his childhood because of it.
but what if this is his childhood for him? Like, what if this is his way of getting of being happy?
Yeah, maybe he didn't want his summer camp. He'd rather do this.
Yeah, like maybe he wanted to play soccer.
He's able to do something that no one else his age has been doing.
You know what? That's probably like self fulfilling. Like
that's one of the things
what
that I was
else?
saying. Like I was saying that you can't be like the people at your own level and progress. You have to be around better people or people who are willing to get better.
That's right. Yep.
And they were like, no, that's not true. And I was like, it is. Because what do you do when you go to school? You're a teacher, right? A teacher is essentially like a mentor.
Yeah.
They are smarter than you are. In some cases, once you get older, it's different. But like, let's say kindergarten to 6th grade. You go there because they know more than you and they're going to teach you and you're going to get smarter and smarter.
Sure.
They don't get dumber and dumber because they're with you. They're teaching you something. But when it comes down to dancing to another level where most people aren't at, you have to be with better people.
Yeah, I think it's that way because like what are the people around you doing? Are you like drinking all day? Are you putting in the work? Like do you want to be around those type of people? Those type of people are usually like negative most of the time. Like negativity probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Aside from a bunch of other things, right? So sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on out there. We're next to a train station now, but hopefully we'll get this place nice and soundproof in the next couple episodes.
Working better.
But back to what I was saying about people. I mean, in my own experience, the only way I've been able to progress even a little bit was by being around people who were in a better place than I was. And then basically, I guess what happens, the dynamic is like, if you're a good person, usually what happens is that somebody would want to take you under their wing because they know a little bit more than you. You're like, you know what? This guy's pretty cool. I'm going to show him a little bit. Like, if you need help, let me know, I'll help you. But if you're around people who are at the same level as you, like, have you ever gotten that? Like, in your experience, have you ever gotten like a push or hey man, like, I can teach you this. Like, don't worry. Have you ever gotten that in your experience? I mean, I have only because I joined the mastermind with Robert and Gilbert. Who were on our guests in the last podcast. Hanging out with them, we're going from hanging out with a group who was kind of like-minded, and then hanging out with these guys who wanted a little bit more out of life. It not only did it force me to get, I wouldn't say get to their level, it made me want to, in a sense, emulate what they were doing because it was working.
Yeah.
Like right now, these guys are building companies. I'm in the process of building mine. I don't think I would be able to do that by myself. I think there's only like a certain amount of people who are able to do something by themselves, and I think it's rare. You know, it's usually out of necessity that something like that happens. Like, but for me, I've definitely needed a group of people for me to look up to, and then like, okay, you know what? That's where I want to be. So, and if you're nice, they usually help you. Like, people will help you,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's
it's
what I've figured.
like when I was in the restaurant, I would have to train people.
Hmm.
So I would, when I was a server, I would train people, and people would always freak out and be like, "Oh, I know the menu, but I don't know how to handle all these tables." Like it's not really about handling all these tables. It's about making sure you have time for all the tables. So people were, "Oh, I can get the order. I know how to get the order." But then they stand at the computer and take 10 minutes to put the order in. Like
Oh,
every moment is crucial. Like if you're wasting all your time here at this computer, then you're not at that table getting the next table to get more money. And that's why someone's making more money than you because you're slow here.
so now, how was it that you were able to? Because I'm assuming you were in their shoes once.
Hmm?
Like you weren't thinking about it in that sense. You were like, oh, I know how to do things, like whatever. But then someone came around and told you like, hey, you can make more money if you're more conscious about the time you're using as opposed to what you're actually doing. Like,
Yeah, and how you're doing it. Where like one of the things I had to have a lot of issue with in general is talking to people. And so serving, you had to talk to people. So one day someone was like, "Okay, what do you do when you go to a table?" It's like, "I don't know. I just make it up when I get there." They're like, "Okay, make three things, because you will only have three tables that are next to each other.
mm-hmm.
So each of those tables can hear what you say. So if you say the same thing to every table, the table next to you is going to hear and be like, 'Oh, this guy's stupid.'" So you make three plans. You tell one table one, the next table another one, this one the next one, and then you can recycle.
But plans in terms of like the
Like
food you're
how you
offering,
talk to them, how you introduce yourself,
like,
how
hey, how you guys
yeah
doing? And then the next people like, hey, you guys ready for the weekend? And then the next table, you kind of
yeah.
say
It's like
hello.
when you go into a certain restaurants, this server comes up, says the same exact thing. My name is this. This is a special. This is how we do things. What do you want?
Would you
Goes
think
to the
that?
table next to you. This is my name. This is how we do things. This is the menu. What do you want?
Do you think that has to do something with the just the procedures that they're taught?
But yeah, but it's bad
So you're saying the
because you're already
procedure.
right there. You're like, "Oh, okay, I'm no different."
So you're saying that like the procedure in this case, would it be like the restaurant fault, like the
Sure, but at the end of the day, you're the one trying to make money. So sure, you may have a procedure, but you could go outside of that afterwards and create a better experience for people. And
right?
that's life in general.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see that. That's pretty good advice. So if you guys have any, if you guys have any serving jobs, that's some sound advice from your man Greg. Your man Greg here. Your um yeah. I mean that's pretty cool, man. Now what I know we were talking about this a little bit before in the last episode with Robert brought this up where he was basically recounting and retelling us how he came to be this business consultant, and it was because over his childhood and the past years he had already he already had this way of thinking. Um, like, do you see any correlation between what you're doing now, what you were doing 5 years ago, and then maybe your early childhood?
No, I don't see it.
No, you don't think? I mean, even this. I mean, I know this is a whole different new ball game for both of us. But do you think it has got any correlation with what we grew up with?
I mean, to the outside person, they may be able to see it. They may be able to be like, "Oh, this and this and this," but that's because they have a perception of you,
Hmm.
and they see certain things, and they see those same things repeated. And when when you're around people, you kind of do the same thing with the same people. Like when you're around your friends, you're going to try to have some fun. And you're around your parents, you're usually a little bit more weary and you're
Like
more
behave.
like sit there and talk. and you go to work, you're there to work. So like people only see you in certain ways. Like it's some of the people who I worked with, I never saw outside of work, and it's super weird to see them in normal clothes. You're like, you dress like that?
Yeah, I guess that's yeah, I guess right.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny how we do that.
And so it's easy for someone to be like, oh, I thought you always liked this and that. Like, sure. Like I'll give you an example. Who is it? Like my dad. My dad likes pigs. And he liked pigs, but I don't think he liked them to the extent that like when you walk into their house, there's pigs everywhere. I don't think he liked it that much. But people were like, "Oh, you like pigs," and got him pig thing after pig thing after pig thing, and now his house is full of pigs.
And now it's like a thing, like a
Yeah.
Christmas, you get a pig.
Yeah.
Your birthday present, you get a pig.
Yeah, so they took something that they thought was you.
I'm gonna tell
and went
people
with it.
now, like I like money, so so birthday, money, Christmas, money. No,
It's kind of what happens.
yeah,
People will see that you like something, and then they think that that's what you are.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's what the perception, right? It all comes down to your perception, and then the appearance to how you're appearing to other people. The appearance,
But then there are consistent things, like if you act a certain way,
like
of
personality.
course, that's how you are.
Mhm.
But there,
But I mean,
there are
in
things-
terms of like your career choices, like okay, for instance, like let's go back to your not high school, like um, what was it, middle school? You went to a totally different middle school than I did. Like by all means, right? I wouldn't say the name of my school, but it was the nickname it had was City Trash. So just imagine.
I've never actually heard that about that school.
No?
No.
But can you now knowing that, do you kind of like do you get it?
I mean, I didn't know the school. I know what school you're talking about, but I didn't. I never went there, so I didn't know.
Yeah, but I mean just walking around or driving through like
No,
you
because they
wouldn't-
always had that fair, and everyone always wanted to go to that.
You've never been to the fair?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the school had it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I never thought anything bad about that school.
Oh, because you only went there for the fair.
Yeah.
See. Yeah. Okay. So
and then
dude.
I went to a private Christian school.
Oh damn.
And
So
I was,
okay, so
I
tell
was
me.
actually the worst student. There were 4 bad students at that school, and I was one of the 4.
Really?
I was so bad at middle school.
'Cause see, I have a whole different perception of you.
Dude,
like-
I was everything there. I stole, I lied, I cheated, what else? This was a Christian private school, dude. We used to run stealing rings there. It would like the school lunch. It would be a one-way in and a
Mhm.
one-way out.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to get in line, go this way, and then come back around and go in. So what happens is they would have a different color marker every day. They'd mark your hand with 1, 2, or 3. So I think it's
So you
You
wouldn't
get-
skip line.
it's not that, no.
What was it for?
What it was, one line was like 1 slice of pizza, 2 lines is 2 slice, the third line was a drink.
So
I don't
why-
remember
wait,
the actual
why-
process of it.
Okay, but why would they mark you 3 times?
Because some kids got it for free and some kids paid for it, and then my parents didn't pay for it and I didn't get it for free. So if I wanted something, I had to pay the full price for it, and it wasn't worth it. It's like $5 for a slice of pizza.
Would you get an allowance?
Huh?
Would you get like lunch allowance?
No, the school wouldn't give me any of that.
So you went to school
No, my
with a-
parents would send me to school with food. I would
Oh.
have food, but
Oh,
I
I
wanted
see.
pizza.
Oh, okay, I see.
So what happened is we would wait until the first person in line came out, check what color there was. We had a whole set of markers, and we'd mark ourselves. But the tricky part was getting in line because it's one way in, one way out, and the person who marks you stands at the door. So we had to come up with ways to get everyone in, and then once we were in, we were good.
Like, how many times did you do? You
Oh, we would do this almost every day.
every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Do you think the teacher kind of knew? They're like, look at these poor little kids. Like,
I don't know, because at a certain point, you're used to the people there, so you just don't even necessarily think about it anymore.
dude, that's so funny.
We
But I
never
mean,
got caught.
food
No,
I
there was
mean,
more, dude. There was way more.
okay,
Dude.
what was like the worst thing you did there?
Oh, we used to steal candy every day. There was a lunch, and during lunch, you were only able to stay in a certain part of the school. But there was a big auditorium outside of the area you could go to. And my buddies would always sneak over there, and I was always too scared to do it. And then eventually one day I did do it. And then it was just like, this is easy. So we would somehow sneak over. We would like hide behind a wall and crawl over, and then we'd be out of sight of the teachers. So we would get over there, and we would be inside, and we would actually have to pick the lock to get inside this big auditorium.
You had to pick the lock? And how old were you?
Middle school, like 7th grade.
7th grade? What was
So
that like?
it's like 11, maybe 10.
11? 10, 11?
That's what you're like 13 or 14 going into high school.
High school, yeah. Freshman, yeah.
Yeah. So like 11
So
or
that's
12.
pretty young, dude.
So we pick up the lock, we get inside, but there's also offices inside that building. So like people who were part of the actual church and not the school were there working. So we had to avoid the offices, which we knew where they were. And then there were these cabinets that went all the way around the church. We would pick those locks because inside there was candy all the way along. So we would just like take a candy bar every day. So
Every
bad.
day?
So bad.
Dude.
We even went in because there's a big auditorium, and we'd go hang out on the auditorium and just like yell. And then one day we were just like, let's go up by the offices and go look and see what it looks like. So we go up, and there's, you know, those fake trees?
Like a Christmas tree?
No, it's just like a fake like palm tree.
Okay. Yeah.
So they had one in this corner, and one of the guys needed to go to the bathroom. He decided to pee on it.
It was fake?
Dude, yeah, dude. It's just like peed on. It's so bad, dude. I don't like that we did this, but we would do that.
I mean, dude, you were a kid, right?
Oh, we knew better. Come on.
But dude, okay.
We didn't think that it was as bad as it was. This is what we would.
I got suspended from elementary school, bro.
Dude,
And
you know
hang
it.
on. Must have been. Yeah, it was elementary school. During lunch, dude, people left the room, right? Sometimes me and a few people. Now, it's funny because I don't think I ever instigated it. I was just kind of like, wanted to be a part of a group. And, I guess I chose this group then, you know? But basically, like, we had this thing to tea, bro. Like, we would bring our hoodies. We would bring like gloves because we thought we would get fingerprinted. Dude, it was so ridiculous. So once people went out to break for like 15 minutes, we'd be the last people to leave, and then we wouldn't steal like other people's things. We were still like, I don't know, like let me see, what can I think of? I probably liked pens, like new pens, and then pens like the lead pencils. I thought that those things were so cool because, dude, you know, growing up in Santa Ana, dude, come on, you don't have lead pencils.
You know those ones where they had that little thing inside where you'd have to pull it and put it back on the inside? I always wanted one of those, and I'd never get one, dude, because they were expensive.
Right? The yellow
and if you
one,
lost one piece, you had to buy a new one again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I'm talking about the ones that you had to press.
Yeah.
Because they were new. Like, for me, when I was a little kid, bro, we only got like the crappy pencils that would break. Like, you'd have to sharpen it like 100 times
until it becomes a little nub.
Yeah, dude. And it was like, okay, now it's good to write. Dude, having those mechanical pencils were the best.
Did you ever turn them into the staple shooter?
Oh yeah, but that wasn't until middle school.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, I used to like those, and then one time, dude, I stole a light bulb, and the teacher saw it in my bag when she was walking around, and then she noticed that we were like, I don't know who tipped her off or what had happened. Next thing you know, I'm suspended, dude, for 3 days. That was the most embarrassing thing I had to go through.
I never got suspended, but I did not get allowed to go on a field trip, which it wasn't really a field trip necessarily. It was the last day of school. Instead of having the last day of school, they were going to go to the beach. And the principal and I, we hated each other.
This was at the same place?
Yeah, at the middle school, the private school. We hated each other.
Why?
Hated each other. It's just I didn't like school, and she didn't like me because I didn't like school, and I did stupid things.
Were you like Dennis the Menace?
Yeah, I guess. I never got caught for any of the things that I told you. I never. Choo-choo. I never got caught for any of that. What I would get in trouble for is actual things within the school. So like I'd be sitting in class and I'd make like cow sounds, and the teacher gets tired of it and send me to the principal. Like things like that. Yeah, just we were so bored. We would just make stupid noises because we didn't care.
So okay,
And so
okay,
back to this. It was probably a couple days before the last day, and I got in trouble for something. And I went to her, and she's like, "If you don't cut it out, you're not going to this field trip." And I was like, "It's the last day of school. I'll just not show up to school, and my mom will take me. She'll drop me off at the beach, and I'll just be there." And she's like, "You're not going. You're in trouble." I called my mom. My mom came. She's like, "No, you're not going. I'm not going to drop you off." So they made me go as punishment. They made me come to school that next day, stay for a full day.
By yourself?
No. And I had to go into like the first grade room and help the teacher do whatever they wanted.
Like being like a teacher?
Yeah.
assistant?
Yeah. That was
Oh,
like the
that's
worst thing that ever
hilarious.
happened, like punishment wise.
So I have to ask you, man, like how was going to Christian school?
I mean, I was the worst student, so it was the same thing. The only thing different was there was a Bible class.
That was it?
It's
But
the only
everything
thing
else, like
different.
math?
I mean, I think like once a month there was like a school assembly, but then they also had like singing like you would in a normal church. But outside of that,
But it wasn't like x plus x equals Christ or something like
no,
that.
there was a Bible class where I think like I can't even really remember the Bible class really outside of like your homework was like once a week you had to memorize a specific verse or
Now,
something.
why?
But outside of that, I don't really remember that class that
like,
much.
I understand you were young and reckless, like we've all been there. But was there something like different? Like why did you hate this place? Was it because it was school, or was it more about like because this place was all guys, all boys?
No,
It was co-ed? It was co-ed. Okay. Okay. 'Cause usually like private schools, aren't they like one gender?
no, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
But
That's just something I've heard. Maybe like all girls Catholic school or something.
I just never liked school. It had no value to me. Like learning these small things didn't do anything for what I wanted to do, and I didn't have a interest per se. We lived in an apartment. All my friends lived there. We had like 15 kids, and when we get home, we would just go play. We'd go fake WWF. We would go run around, play tag, hide and seek, do fireworks, go dig holes to catch gangsters. I told that story already, haven't I?
Gangsters?
Yeah,
No.
did I tell you about that?
No, you can't gloss over that.
Oh.
Man. You gotta tell us about that story.
There was
bro.
this alleyway that went around the complex, and we were always told that we can't go in it. It's trespassing.
Right.
There's a sign that says trespassing. And then there was this older kid who would live there and talk to us every once in a while. He's like, "Yeah, you're not allowed to go in there because that's where the gangsters hang out." We're like, "The gangsters? Oh man, we gotta help the police and catch these gangsters." So one day we take a bunch of shovels and we jump over the wall, and we decided to dig a hole. And I swear it was like 6 feet.
6 foot
And
hole.
it was round enough for like 3-4 people to stand in. And then what we
6
did,
feet. Like,
Yeah.
how did you even get out of there?
we put little steps so we could get out. And so at the end of the day, we would cover it with like sheet and then put dirt over it so you couldn't tell.
shit.
Yeah, dude. And so we never got anyone, or no one fell in it. But one day the cop saw us jump over and we were digging, and he looks over the wall. He's like, "Get out!" Or like, "We're just trying to catch gangsters." And he's like, "You can't be in there." We had to fill the hole up, and
Oh man, imagine some poor cracked
Crackhead
down
falls in
dude
there.
goes in there and he's like, you guys did never find him. He's just there. What would happen to you guys?
I mean, we
Juvie.
probably wouldn't have said anything.
Remember juvenile jail when we were kids? I mean, obviously I never
I
went to
highly
it,
doubt
but
it.
remember about that? You remember like, oh, you're gonna go to juvie. Remember that?
No.
No, you never heard about that stuff? Okay, so you didn't grow up in the sea trash, bro.
No, because we never got caught.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? But dude, like other friends, dude, I remember dude, one time, I don't know, man, just one time I was going to this was must have been middle school, so I was probably like I think same age, 13, 12, 13. And I had gotten a new bicycle, dude. And then somebody from the school just jacked it. Like brand new. They cut the lock and they took it. Like imagine trying to explain that to a Mexican mom who like worked her ass off to buy its damn um I mean at the time they were expensive bicycles, right? Right now you can get one for like $50. Not a big deal.
Just like razors, dude.
Yeah.
When those first came out, jeez.
Dude, what $120?
$120 for a razor. Now they're at the dollar store now.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I got jacked, and dude, I seen a lot of stuff there. There was this girl, man, in one of like our classes. The girl she was a slutty girl. She was one of those like young slutty girls, and I know it for a fact because I never had this experience, unfortunately, back then. But dude, she was offering blowjobs by the minute for $5 a minute. And so imagine you're like a 12-year-old, you go into the bathroom for 2 minutes, all you need is $10.
What
Dude,
the hell?
she was straight just hoeing herself out. I don't even know like what has come of her like now. Like I've always wondered like I wonder what happened to that girl who used to give blowjobs in middle school. Like
Jeez,
dude, I've seen people
see like I never experienced that. The only thing it was elementary school.
Mhm.
There was a janitor who was selling fireworks in the bathroom. And it wasn't like Piccolo Pete's. It was like mortars and like things you'd have to get from Mexico.
Bro, a janitor was hustling kids.
He was like, we had to call them FWs, call them fireworks. So if everyone was like FW, like they wouldn't necessarily think anything of it.
Gosh. Bro, what the fuck was the janitor thinking selling fireworks to kids?
I mean, when you think about it, like, I don't necessarily think anything.
What do you mean? You're gonna like blow up the school? Not blow it up, but
No.
catch the school on fire.
Don't think about that. You think about the fireworks shooting in the sky, popping, and you see it. Like, you
Like,
don't think about the negative that could happen. Like, when you go, have you ever shot off a mortar?
Which ones are those? Like the ones that
Where it
just go
shoots
up?
in the sky and pops.
Okay, I have to be honest. Although I'm Mexican, probably have only done it once.
Okay, so that one time, did you think that it could catch a house on fire? There's
Well,
states where they don't consider them illegal, and it's
check
like
this
they
out.
don't think about the consequence that could catch someone else's on fire.
Check this out. I have a
Jesus.
big counter argument to that. I saw a kid shoot one of those things into another kid's eye.
Yeah, we used to shoot Roman candles at each other.
Yeah.
I shot Matt right here with a Roman candle. It went blah.
Dude, imagine. I mean, imagine that happens, and the janitor then's like, well, they got it from me in the bathroom. I was hustling these kids.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he wasn't thinking about it because he was selling fireworks to kids, but
Well, it's like right now. Like we were just talking about the energy drink, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm drinking a beer right now."
yeah.
I don't think about the consequence of the beer.
Well, to be fair, I live a healthier lifestyle than my nephew.
Well, that's like
You know.
saying that to be fair, he knows how to use a firework. So
No, they're kids. There's no way you know how to use a firework
yeah, what if
safely.
you show him how to do it? He knows how to use it.
I mean, are you really? I know you're playing the devil's advocate in this, but are you really? Are you?
No, I'm just saying he doesn't necessarily think
you
about
have
the
a
negative
kid.
outcome.
You have a kid. Let's say the janitor at his school is selling fireworks to the kids, and then one of the kids accidentally points it and shoots your kid in the eye. what would you do as a parent?
Yeah, you'd be mad. But
Exactly.
but that doesn't mean that he was ever like, oh, okay, this kid's gonna like this and point it at someone.
I'm
That's
saying
not what he's thinking about.
he wasn't thinking about it, obviously, because he was selling them in the first
Yeah,
place.
and that's why so many things happen. That because you don't think about bad things that can happen.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, dude, like, you have to be a little nuts to be selling. First of all, you're selling them. They're probably illegal from Mexico, made in cartel barns, dude. And then second of all, they're kids, so like, someone's gonna lose an eye, lose a dick, something. I don't know,
Who's strapping stuff onto that?
bro. You've never watched Jackass?
Never heard of that.
You've
I've
never.
heard of the firework like suits.
No, dude. You need to watch Jackass 1, Jackass 2, Jackass 2.1. They have like a bunch of them. Dude, and they did some crazy things. And you know, it was, I guess that was at the beginning of the internet. You know, to be honest, I think they were like the pioneers of YouTube. Because,
No, because we used to try to do skate videos all the time.
yeah, but
Where were we putting those skate videos?
on YouTube. That was all
No,
YouTube.
YouTube wasn't there then.
Yep, it was 2006 when YouTube started.
Like I was just thinking about this. Like Facebook was not always on your phone. I don't remember the day where I was like, "Oh, I need to download the Facebook app."
Oh, when smartphones came.
Like I
smartphones
can't remember
came-
the first
what?
time I've thought about like, oh, this is the first time I used YouTube. Like I
No,
can't remember.
You
that.
had a sidekick, didn't you?
No, I never did.
Okay. Well, you
I
had
went from the Nokia to a smartphone.
That's why you never saw the change. Because when you were using that brick phone, the freaking, what was it called?
The
What'd you call it?
Nokia.
The Nokia?
Yeah.
Dude, that how many falls? How many times did you chuck it at people and it
All
never
the time,
broke?
dude.
It probably still works.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so I remember getting like this slide phone
Mhm.
back in the day. Must have been more than, I would say like 15 years ago. It was after the Razor. I mean, even I think the Razors had, it's technically a smartphone, the Razors, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, because
I think
they
you could
had
put
Facebook
music
on there. They had
and
Facebook
pictures.
on there.
Did it? Oh, it had the first beginning type of internet. It
Yeah,
was really bad.
which is bad. But yeah, then
No,
I
it didn't
guess
have Facebook, dude. It had MySpace.
MySpace. Yeah, MySpace. That was a trip. Thinking about that.
That's what it was.
Remember when you used to go and like personalize the background with the drop and the match
Dude, I never
music?
really learned how to do all that.
And you're a coder, bro? You didn't
Well, looking
deck
back
out.
at it now, I was like, that's just
Dude.
some simple CSS.
I've been trying to find my MySpace stuff. I need to delete that thing. Like, I don't know, dude. I just kind of gave up. I lost the information. I could never. I don't know. The password's somewhere at the bottom of the barrel somewhere.
Yeah.
But that was pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, so like right now, like, how do you think that your kid is going through his, what is he in, like pre-K?
No, it's
Technic-
not considered any
Well,
of
it's
that
technically
yet.
pre-K.
He's in summer school and then he'll be in pre-K.
Okay, so pre-K. Did you go to pre-K?
No, that didn't really exist.
It didn't exist back then, right?
No. It was just preschool and then because preschool was optional and then you start kindergarten.
Right.
The preschool was all paid, so it was usually the kids who needed daycare essentially. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, dude, I remember when I was growing up in Mexico, and this is just a little sidetrack, but when I was in Mexico, man, our teachers were not like the teachers here. For me, in PE, if you weren't running, like if you stopped running in PE, the teacher would make you go get a switch and then bring it over so he could whack you. So after like the first time of doing that, I learned right away, man. I was like, I don't like, dude, shit's gonna hurt. So what I started to do is I started to break it. So when he hit, it would look like he was hitting me, but it would break like you know like it wouldn't hurt as bad, dude. But just going back to like how your kid's gonna be living, like I don't know if that kind of shaped me into who I am, and I'm not sure what to expect from the kids now who are starting in these schools now, where it's like, I mean, I guess they have a lot of structure, but I don't think that they have the discipline.
Yeah.
'Cause when I came here, man, discipline was definitely different. Like I kind of felt weird. I'm like, wait, no one's gonna hit you with a ruler? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
like what's going on here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not enough it doesn't necessarily be punishment. It's like something that I started doing with my son was not just like, put an example, like he's running around in the circle around the kitchen and there's a corner that he can hit, and I tell him you need to slow down or you're gonna hit that corner. He doesn't listen, and he eventually hits the corner. And he
He'll
comes and
never
he tries
do
to
it
come
again.
and cry, oh, I hit the corner, I need you to hold me. No, I told you not to do it. I told you again. Told you again. And then you hit it. So now, heal it. And then I was like, do you want it to happen anymore? He's like, no. So what do you need to do next time? Blah, 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 blah. Sure, I don't understand what he's saying. But to him, he may semi-understand
He was
now.
like,
Slow
he
down
was
so I
like-
don't run into this.
he's like, hell no, I ain't I'm gonna slow down next time, right?
yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Or do it a different way.
Yeah, that's
So
funny.
it's having them explain and having them understand why. Not
Yeah.
you telling them why.
It doesn't
They don't care what
change.
you have to
Yeah,
say.
I guess it has to do a lot with the way you understand things. I was just thinking about this the other day. I don't feel like I started understanding things until I don't know, my like early 20s. Like for me, like all of childhood, like teen, yeah, I mean I guess I remember I have a ton of memories, a ton of things that like I did, a bunch of new experiences and a bunch of things, right? But to me right now everything just looks like a flash. Like I never it was all a flash. Like for me from 0 to 18, it was just a flash.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about before. There's no long-term accomplishment staying with you. All these small accomplishments that don't matter, and you start forgetting about them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a lot of stuff that I can share, but in terms of like, I don't know, like the past 5 years have been more eventful than at least in I guess it has to do with exactly with what you're saying, that the higher the value, the more you're gonna hold it to the memory, right?
So it's like when someone asks, like, "Oh, what have you done? Like, what have you done that no one else has done?"
Well, I mean, I couldn't exactly
That's what I'm talking
pinpoint
about, like,
one thing because has anybody done only one
the
thing?
majority of people, there's enough that you can do that others haven't. Like, let's say out of everyone we know who's run a marathon, I don't know anyone who's actually run a marathon.
Okay, well I've met people, yeah.
But like
I've
you saying
met
that
people, yeah.
in front of all of us is impressive and something to be proud of.
Yeah.
But to say I beat the new Batman game. Cool. In a month you're gonna forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
There's nothing to peacock. Peacocking is important.
Peacock. So, have you done anything else for peacocking? Have you have you ruffled your feathers yet?
No.
So,
Not the way you're talking
about. What did you think? Like, have you had time to reflect on what we talked about last time? Like, not that you had to change your mind in any way, but I'm just saying, like, did we? Not even me. Like, just the different perspectives that you got. Did it change your perception on this whole other thing?
I mean, sure, but it's not changing
The results.
me. It's not like getting me out to go out and do anything to meet someone. Like, sure I may see people different ways, but like how I don't know if we were talking about it last time, but we've talked about it. How everyone's telling me to like find an older person, an older girl.
Who said that?
All of you guys have said that before. You're like, y'all need to just find a nice older lady,
Oh, to
and you
take
could-
care of you.
even my parents told me that today. Dude. We were talking about it, and they're like, "You should just find someone older." I was like, "You too?"
Maybe you're overly mature. Like maybe you see the world way different light than other people. Like I guess I'm getting to that age, now being almost 30. Now I'm starting to feel like
there's different stages of life, and there's different types of times.
Yeah, but
and that's
you-
why they say some people are from different times. They
Like
should
different
they should have
eras.
been in the 50s or the
Yeah.
60s or in the 2050s.
I'm definitely an 80s baby. In my past life, I was an 80s baby for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think you were in your past life?
I don't know.
If
I think I'm
there
an old
was-
person, dude.
Huh?
I think I'm a retired old man right now. That's how I see myself, as a retired old man.
Okay, so don't you want to see wouldn't you want to see the world?
Exactly,
all?
a retired old man.
Well, not exactly.
One who's like in his RV, just
Okay,
going.
okay, I feel that. Having the freedom to just go. Yeah, that would be nice, I don't think people get out as much.
Yeah, like I was
I
watching.
need- I need that.
I've been looking at like tiny homes and like shipping crate homes.
Like minimalism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this one lady who she came here from some country, and she's like, I had an apartment and it was nice, but it was just too much, like cost wise, and I just bought a shipping crate, put it on this land, and then just built a home in the shipping crate, and then built another trailer for another room for my kids, and it's just so much nicer to have less responsibility, to be able to spend more time with my kids. And it's like,
Yeah.
when you look at that, you think this person's crazy. They don't have all this stuff. Like,
No, I
they
mean,
got
I wouldn't
food.
think
They
it would
they
be
have
crazy.
fun.
Yeah.
They don't see why it's a big deal necessarily.
It's not a big deal. I think that in fact actually I think it is a big deal because that's her way of happiness. Like that's her success. Like she's like, you know what? My life, I just want to spend time with my kids. And I fully respect that. Like as long as you know what that is, that's perfectly fine. But the problem for me, like for instance for me, being someone like that, I think it's all that fulfilling because like my kids would be limited to experiences where I'm trying to limit their experiences you have this and then you could do more
But not everything's about like experiences in the sense you talk about oh, you could be a carpenter, or you could be a programmer, or you could be a teacher. Like, life's not all about your job.
no
So,
but I
like, I even heard of
it's
this
not
one
about
guy
a job, no.
who was a single, not a single dad, but he had custody of, I think it was a daughter, and he lived on a mountain. He didn't have a home. He like built a home out of broken down trees, and he would catch his own food, and
So you're
every
talking
other
about,
weekend he would have his daughter.
you're talking about a man.
Yeah, he would have his daughter, and he'd go hike down this mountain to pick his daughter up, and they would hike back up and live in the mountains. That's crazy.
That's pretty great.
How is that not just as much of an experience as being able to be a carpenter or be a manager of this? Or...
Well, I think the experience is different, but the way you experience it may be also different. Like for him, that's probably fulfilled him more than anything. Having the opportunity to live in a place that he built, going out daily to get fresh cut food, like I'm sure he felt great. I can only imagine. But in terms of like
People are shooting
He-
off fireworks right now.
Dude, it's not even 4th of July, but you know, Orange
Jeez.
County, you know how we do, boy. You know how we do it. 4th of July is a month long. For anyone listening who does not live in Orange County, you come to Orange County, it's a month before and a month after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still have, dude, I still have a firework in my
I have the bag of
storage.
fireworks from last year.
Dude, I've had it for 3 years and never even did anything with it. It's still sitting there. But anyway, going back to the story with the man. I can only imagine how. I mean, I could see how happy he is not having to deal with all the pollution, the light pollution, the information pollution, just being overloaded and blasted with things daily. I think that would be a simpler way to live. But like, I guess he's also missing out on the. I mean, I guess it's just up to you. Like, it's up to him to live the life he wants. Like in my eyes, I would like to have a little bit of everything. Like, I wouldn't mind living away from people, but then I would want to have the freedom to go into the city every once in a while. So I don't feel so disconnected from people. I think that would be my balance. Like that would be my ideal way for me to live. Would be live away from people, but work where people go. Because I think too much like what would that be called? Like not segregation. That's a whole different word. But you know, just being away from people, I think it kind of grounds you.
Isolation.
Isolation. It kind of just grounds you, and then being with people, you're you're better equipped to working with people and to um I don't know, like move up in the world, I guess. Like what would be your ideal way to live?
I don't know. Simplifying things sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like I've actually wanted for a while. I've wanted to do one of those tiny homes, but like looking at shipping crate homes too. Those are pretty sick.
They're really cool,
But
man.
you can't do it here.
No, you can't. They're legal in California, but they're
Shipping crate is,
expensive.
yes.
Yeah.
But you either have to find land that has a foundation already there, or you have to build a foundation. And then you have to build a foundation based off of California rules, which includes earthquake stuff, and it's
Yeah, it's expensive here, but you go to Arizona, man. Houses aren't that bad over there. I mean,
no,
they're picking
but I also
up.
can't go out there.
They're picking up. Oh, that's right. Um, let's see. I mean, what other options do we have here in California?
Make more money.
That's always the best option, man.
Oh.
I think that's the best option. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh man, I'm moving to Arizona. I'm moving to Vegas. I'm moving out of the state." I'm like, why? I mean, I mean, if you're in Orange County, first of all, you're not in like in LA or like Long Beach or any of those places. You're in Orange County. Orange County is not that bad. You can actually raise a family here and still be sane. Like they're like, oh yeah, you know, Orange County is just way too expensive. We can't afford it. Like, can't afford it, or you don't want to afford it because you can afford it. You just got to make more money able for you
It's
to
also
stay here.
because of a lot of the life decisions that are going on. You got a lot of single people. You got a lot of like divorced people. You get a lot of single parents, and then it becomes time to money to space.
Yeah,
you don't have
but
enough time to make the money to make the space to keep
honestly,
everything going.
honestly, like right now, this is a perfect example. Like this, we're doing this for fun because I mean, I do this for fun. I have a blast just having conversations with my friends. Um, but you never know. Like this is yes, this may be one income stream in the future. Cultivating that now, have a different income stream. Like you just have to be I guess well versed and have different income streams and do things that you actually want to do. If you're okay, let's say you're married, Greg. You're living in a basically you're living in the city. or you're living outside the city from where you work. We have a lot of sub cities here in Orange County, and basically to get into any city, you practically need to take the freeway. And with the freeway, creates traffic. So now you're commuting for at least 45 minutes to go to work in a different city. Then you're sitting in a cubicle all day for 8, 12 hours, depending on your level position. The higher you are, you're probably doing more hours than anybody else. Then you're driving another 40, maybe an hour now, because now it's afternoon, everyone's out from work, everyone's technically going the same way as you. So now you have an hour commute home, and let's say you had a shitty day, and you get home, you're with the kids, they're yelling all the time, you don't have any me time. You get home, there's a mess, like your wife just got home, like she's barely starting on the dinner, or maybe you guys are ordering out, and then it's just so many problems. Like people stop having the communication necessary to cultivate good relationships. And so, like for me, it's imperative that I cultivate a way and a lifestyle that allows me to have time for family, and then still have time for to do things that are like this that are fun, and then obviously my work, and then it's a big problem that I think people overthink sometimes. Basically, I think people can solve it. Like, what do I really want to do? Do I want to be sitting in this cubicle? Yeah, that pays well, but I don't see my family. But what's more important, the pay or your family? And then figure it out that way. But if you're like, I don't know, if you're single, I mean, hell, I mean, just work right and have some fun. But I
Which
mean,
is kind of interesting because most of the single people that I know don't do that, and then they complain about money. It's like you have so much time. You have so much time to go and do whatever the heck you want. You can work 2 part-time jobs. You have 2 days off. You have all this money. You can literally do whatever you want.
but then it's I don't know anybody, and then it's just excuses. I mean, I cultivating a life that you really want takes a lot of work. It's not easy. I'm figuring that out right now. Like, dude, this having this studio is kick ass. Like, I can't wait to decorate and everything, but it's gonna be a lot of hard work. It's gonna go into the studio, money wise, you know? But I'm sure it's gonna be worth it. I'm having a blast. White walls, you know. Um, but yeah, man. Like, what are you looking forward to next week?
Next week,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I usually don't think too far ahead, but I don't have anything planned next week.
No.
Oh, I mean, my schedule's changing, but it schedule changes will affect things
Yeah.
because my son's going to summer school and it's changing the hours he's going to school, and so it may change my habits, which means now I have to adjust or I get lazy. So maybe it's a test.
Test.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
because when you're used to doing something like the whole running I've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd eat dinner usually around 6. So from 6 to 7 is when I let my food settle, and then 7 to 7:30 start getting everything like taken care of. So I'm just I can ignore everything at home and go and run. So 7:30 to 8, I run, and I did that every day except for today. I did it at like 3 o'clock, and I was sitting there and I was like, "Am I gonna do this right now, or should I just do it later on after the podcast?" And I was like every time that I think that I would do later on, there comes a thing. Oh, it's nighttime now. I shouldn't go run out. We can running right now. It's at night.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'll just do it. I'm gonna, I'll do it. It doesn't matter that it's night. And then I was like, nah, do it right now. What am I doing? And so it's just understanding that it's not that you're wasting time. Like I would have been studying
No,
anyways.
what's happening is that you are seeing your patterns now. You're starting to see your thoughts, which is it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm starting to see them like that too. Like I don't know if it's an age thing. I'm kind of thinking that
I don't think
it
it's an age
correlates
thing.
to age,
I think it's
maybe
you start
experience.
getting when you have I don't know. It's like you have the understanding that things don't matter anymore. Like there's so many things that just don't matter anymore.
Yeah, but you don't find that out until you're old.
No,
Because I think it comes from experience. Because like when
people
you're a
find
kid,
success in all levels of life.
no, I'm not debating that. Yeah, but I'm saying like kids, for example, like when you're a kid,
Sure,
you're
when I
like
was-
you're like always chasing the next thing. Like, oh, what's next? Oh, what's the next game? Oh, what's the next technology? What's movie? What's the next movie? When you get older, you're like, well, I've already seen a million of those things. The next movie is probably the same shit. Like, whatever. Or I've already done this so many times. Like drinking, going out to a bar. I would much rather have a beer here and having this in-depth conversation with my friend than being out and on the bar where it's loud, you can't hear. Then you
Especially
remember.
with me, I'm pretty lame at.
I mean,
when
you
we go to bars,
remember.
I just stand there and I'm just like,
Oh yeah. By the way, if by this 9th episode, if you're a lady who is interested in Greg, please subscribe, send him a DM, slide into his DMs. But please, you got to teach this guy how to dance. Like that's one. It's probably one of my pet peeves from people is if you're out having a good time. This is the thing. Like how I see it. Like people are already effed up. Like they're not gonna sit there and judge you, and they're like careless.
I know.
So for
I'm
you
actually,
to be self-conscious like that, like bro, these people aren't even looking at you, or maybe they are, but
I'm looking at them, so I don't expect them to be looking at me.
but they're not. Like most of the time, people are having fun. Like it's about letting go. It's about unplugging. It's about
Yeah, but isn't that an issue? Don't you not want to do that? Because then if you need to do that, there's something wrong. So you need to be looking at why you need to unplug.
I mean, sometimes you just have to. Like sometimes you just. It's not even that you need. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna unplug and have a good time. Like go with the flow. Have a good time.
I mean, I do sometimes, like Mardi Gras, dude.
Well, for the people who don't know, I actually have this. Maybe this will be one of the first videos we post.
We'll probably make a GIF out of it or something.
Yeah, a GIF. Oh, that'd be a good idea. Greg, was it your birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how many years ago was this?
That was last year.
It was
Yeah,
2 years
it had to
ago.
have been last
2
year.
years ago. Must have been like 2 years ago because it was at our friend's
Then
past.
yeah.
Not last year because last year they were in the new place of the year before that. So Greg was basically he was stripping.
Flash the titty with Mardi Gras. and I won the baby cake.
Yeah, and wait, what baby cake?
That's the cake where you get a slice of cake, and if you get the baby inside, you're the king of Mardi Gras or queen.
Does that correlate with Catholicism? You know
Maybe.
that thing that the babies?
Yeah, I always thought that. That's
Is that
like
the
a
same thing
Hispanic
for Mardi
tradition,
Gras?
isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Have to look it up.
it's called Dia de la Rosca, but I'm not really sure if it was around the same time or not.
It's Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is New Orleans. I don't know if it has. Oh no, I think it is Catholic-ish.
Yeah, I think it is. Like what was that? Is that Irish?
Yeah, because isn't Mardi Gras for the Catholic religion? Like it's the day you can go out, do whatever you want, and then the next day you repent your sins.
What?
Yeah, that's the whole point of
I
Mardi
don't even
Gras.
know Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Mardi Gras because you go out and you do whatever you want, and the next day you just go repent your sins and you're forgiven.
Gosh damn it! I haven't.
That's why it's so crazy.
And I
because
haven't
they do
even
whatever the hell they want.
And I haven't even been celebrating that, bro.
Yeah, so it does have a correlation.
Gosh
You're right.
dang it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Let's learn something new every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess
Alright.
on that note, hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Again, subscribe, hit the bell on the side of the video. I keep forgetting what side it is. Greg,
Next week we should have the sound situated and no echoing and better coloring.
Yeah.
background.
I hope you guys continue to enjoy this podcast as much as we enjoy doing it. So have a good one.
Yeah, see you guys later.